Today, the president met with MBS in the Oval Office, and they took questions, and people were wondering how that would go, particularly if there were questions that would come up about Mr. Khashoggi, who was murdered in Turkey. Here's number one, Wall Street Journal headline. Trump rejects CIA guidance. Trump says Saudi leader knew nothing of journalist murder, rejecting CIA assessment. President says Jamal Khashoggi was extremely controversial figure as leaders announced $1 trillion worth of deals. So there's important business that took place today on economics, on national security, on research, all important. But what a lot of people are paying attention to is the president's answer when the two were asked about this issue of Khashoggi. It's at some length, but I want you to listen to it to hear the president use this phrase about Khashoggi that a lot of people didn't like him, and also his treatment of the press, not because the press deserves special treatment, they should be tough enough to handle anything, but because of what it might reveal about the president's posture here. Number two, please.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
It's okay, just you ask, Mr. President,
please,
you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or not in a legal way. And it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that. And it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
So, Scott, two issues there. We'll deal with the press moment in a moment. President said some people didn't like Khashoggi and that stuff happens, things happen. Do you believe the CIA assessment that MSB knew about and ordered his murder?
I mean, I have no reason to disbelieve it. Of course, I wouldn't be in a position to know, what all the truth of the facts are, but I wouldn't be in a position to dispute it. But I can tell you what I think is on the president's mind today, and that's one thing: the expansion of the Abraham Accords. I mean, everything that happened in the Oval Office today, to me, is in service of drawing in the Saudis to the point where they can join the Abraham Accords. We engaged in economic deals today up to $1 trillion worth. We sold them F-35s, which, by the way, is the same plane we give the Israelis.
Yeah.
Still the Israelis. And, president's in there obviously talking to MBS about a solution that would make them comfortable with the Palestinians, that would make them comfortable enough to join the Abraham Accords. I know the president wants them in. And I think everything that happened in there, from the answer to those questions to what he said to MBS, is all about that.
So let's just boil it down then. There's lots of business to do with them, and getting them in the Abraham Accords would be great for the region and America. Would you be for his being treated that way if you knew for a fact that he'd ordered the murder of Khashoggi? Would you still be for what the president did?
I think
what he said, how he honored him? Would you be for it if you knew that the CIA assessment was correct?
I think when dealing with people in the Middle East, you have to deal with the hand you're dealt, and oftentimes the cards are not savory cards. And a lot of things happen in countries with people over there that we have to deal with, whether we or you or he likes it or not. And so I guess my view of Trump is, and after having been around him a little bit, he just sort of deals with the world as it is and the reality that he's presented. The reality is that's the guy we have to deal with. That's the country we need in the Abraham Accords, and that's the overarching goal.
I totally appreciate both your point of view and your correct analysis, in my view, that that's the way the president feels. But I'll ask you again, would you, as an American, support your president treating him that way if you knew it was true that he killed a Washington Post, they'd ordered the killing of a Washington Post columnist who'd done nothing but speak out, hadn't committed a crime, hadn't been convicted? Would you still support the way he was treated today and the things the president said?
I don't put that issue ahead of the larger national security implications of getting Saudi Arabia into the Abraham Accords and doing what's best for the future national security and economic security of the United States. Look,
so I can mark you down. I just want to mark you down as yes.
Yeah, I support the president trying to bring peace to the Middle East. I support what he's doing with Saudi Arabia. I don't like the guy that's running Syria, but we got to deal with him too. I don't like what Qatar does, but we got to deal with him too. I mean, you have unsavory characters and incidents all over that place. And the president has moved us closer to peace in the Middle East than any American president. And I think I support him in those efforts, and he's got to do what he's got to do with the people that exist in this world.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I may have misspoken. He wasn't an American citizen. He was a columnist for the Washington Post, but he was not an American citizen, although I believe his fiance might be an American citizen. I might be wrong about that. Here's what the president said about the Abraham Accords today. Number 3, please.
I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. You know, we talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will do our best to reach that day.
Scott, I hope you remember well enough to weigh in on this, going to the press question. Was there anything about the way the ABC News reporter asked her question that was improper or disrespectful?
I mean, look, I don't know that it was improper. I mean, the president certainly thought it was disrespectful to treat a foreign head of state that way, but I don't know that it would have been unexpected. I was expecting someone to ask those questions that way. But look, I think when the president answered back, what I was perceiving was, look, he's got this guy in here. He's trying to get him to join the Abraham Accords and everything else, and he was defending him against what he perceived to be a hostile question from the press. I was not shocked at all with the way the president fought back on it.
Well, but as an American, not as a communications specialist, but as an American, should a reporter asking a proper question be treated that way?
I think reporters that go into the Oval Office and ask hard questions of Donald Trump ought to expect hard responses. He's been getting hard responses of the press for 10 years. If you're shocked by this now, then you haven't been paying.
I'm not shocked by it, but some people are saying, as the president would say, that he was disrespectful in the face of a perfectly respectful question. Here's another instance, same reporter, number 9, please.
Why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name? Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Scott, I just love your general sense of that. I know much of it delights you, but is there anything about the way the president spoke to her that bothers you at all?
Look, he is beyond pissed that he keeps having to answer questions about this and that the narrative that exists in the world leads people to believe that he had something to do with it when he did not. And I think you could see that frustration boiling over in his answer there. And largely what he said is correct about the Democratic affiliations with Epstein. And I think also he's correct that people seem far more interested in asking him about this than people who have documented ties to Epstein about it. So is he frustrated? Yeah. Does he want to talk about other issues? Absolutely. And when people ask him about it, it pisses him off. And that's what you saw.
So unlike a CNN anchor who would let you not answer, I'll ask you one more time. Was there anything about the way the president spoke to her that bothers you? And if so, what?
That bothers me? I mean,
Yeah.
look, I mean, we're not, I mean, nobody's going to get their license revoked over asking questions. I support reporters being able to go to the Oval Office and ask hard questions. And if they want to waste their time on Epstein, that's their business. So I think it's good that the president takes questions. I mean, I think after 10 years, we know how he deals with reporters. I mean, the last 4 years before he came into office, nobody got to ask the president any questions. Now we ask him questions every day. I would put it down as a win.
Okay. One more time. Yes or no? Did anything about the way he spoke to that reporter bother you? Yes or no?
Bother me? No,
Yeah.
I'm not bothered or unbothered by anything. I'm just reacting to the news.
A quick word from one of our sponsors, the great folks at Cozy Earth. Massive sale, 40% off now. Cozy Earth products. Go to cozyearth.com. Promo code 2way for 40% off right now. Stack my code upon what is already a huge site-wide sale and order up your bamboo pajama set. Order up your bubble cuddle blanket. Go ahead and do it. Maybe your jogger pants, the sheets, the towels, all available for 40% off. CozyEarth.com, promo code 2way. Your family can buy stuff for yourself. So you can buy stuff for the holidays, whatever you want. Lots of stuff on there. I do recommend, as you know, the bubble cuddle blanket and the joggers in particular, but it's all great. Keep you warm in winter, cool in summer. Magic material. Black Friday coming early to all of you in the Cozy Earth community. You can get right now the opportunity to wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. Go to it, folks. CozyEarth.com, promo code 2way. Make yourself comfortable. They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the 2way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America. And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and 2way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.